Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Say hey. Say hey. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch.
Hey, welcome everyone. This is XO Joe. Thank you so much for being here tonight. It's great to be back. I've been gone for a little while, took a little break from streaming, and I have a special show, not just for everybody, here watching on live, the replay, but for me, myself personally, this is truly a dream come true. It's going to be an exciting night for me to talk to one of my heroes, a man who I look up to. There's a few of them, right? There's a few men I look up to. There's people that are family men, good friends, good businessmen, help others. Those are the type of heroes that I like, right? So RG is the epitome of all that. He's our captain at Discourse Syndicate. This is my first night streaming under Discourse Syndicate, part of the dream coming true, that I'm looking forward to share with everybody. So RG is going to be joining us because this is my first show in a little while. I was going to take everybody through my story. The last time everybody heard it, it was the 24-hour stream. And I touched on it a little bit there. And then a few people heard it on my very first solo stream with Hex Live, where we both went and, provided our testimony about experience, strength, and hope. Since then, I've just touched on it a little bit here and there, and my story's, grown quite a bit in that time regarding Hex, especially. So I just really want to thank everybody, for being here tonight. Hex Live, I know you're here, brother. He's my ace, right? The guy I ride with since I was a kid, guy I'm walking through Hex with, the guy I call on the phone when I don't have a good day. That's Hex Live. So if you're not following Hex Live on Twitter, it's at Hex_Live. I wouldn't be here without him. So thank you, Hex Live, and everybody else in the chat. I just want to say hello. Not in any rush tonight. We got a little while, so I hope everybody's comfortable and kind of kick back with us for a little bit. So we got Graphene here. Thank you so much. Children of the Grave. Really appreciate you being here, brother. We had one of my favorite streams that I've done so far was with you. So thank you very much for being here. Scott Holtzman, thank you. Identity Block, brother, what's up? Hex in Effect, thank you. The King is here, Crypto King. Thank you for all you do, brother. One of the most underappreciated Hexicans. Even the other day when the underappreciated Hexican list was going around, I didn't think to talk about Crypto King, but what Crypto King does behind the scenes is helping all of us tremendously, getting different guests for Discourse Syndicate, even working on guests for Richard to go live with. So thank you for being here, Crypto King. Keith Gallagher, welcome. ISO Serenity, welcome. And Dan Emmons, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited you're here as well. This is going to be a great episode. My great buddy David Morales, my ace from Las Vegas. We hung so much together in Las Vegas, got to know each other so well. And the best day that I had in Las Vegas was with David. Before everything even got started, we just had such an awesome time, kicking back, relaxing, and hanging out with Hex Monkey and Kareem, and then Wales, and and then everybody showed up after that one at a time. But it was that first night before everything started. It was something I'll never forget. The whole Las Vegas trip was absolutely amazing. I want to thank Matty Allen for sure. T Money, Lewis, Barry. Thank you guys. And RG3, everything that you've done to help for the Las Vegas meetup that we had. Thank you. It was a time I'll never forget. So I don't want to focus too much on that here right now. But Mel V. Tony, thank you for being here. Trapiavelli, Anonymous, Crypto Vince, brother, thank you so much for coming. Vince is one of my best friends as well. We spent a lot of time together off stream, on stream, and we both took a little break. So it's great that we're getting back at it. Everything's exciting. You know, we got a lot going on, a lot to talk about. I'm looking forward to talking tonight to any new Hexicans that maybe don't know who I am, who XO Joe is. I was Joe Exotic. I'll always be Joe Exotic. I do go by XO Joe now. So if you haven't heard my story, I'm looking forward to sharing that. Sig Hex, welcome here, brother. Great to see you out in Vegas as well. We had a blast. Who else? We got a Executioner. Thank you for being here. See you in Pulse Chat a lot lately. Thank you. And Bitfinesse, one of the best streamers in all of Hex. Looking forward to seeing Bitfinesse as soon as possible. It's great to be back streaming again. So hopefully we can jump on stream together, brother. That'd be great. So, you know, without really further ado, I'm going to just bring everybody through my story. Try not to jump around too much. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've been through, right? The premise of the show is experience, strength, and hope. I get that from a 12-step program that I'm involved in. It's an anonymous program, and it helps save my life. The fellowship there certainly opened my mind to receive the help that I need from the people that are in my life now. And a lot of you are here in the chat. A lot of you are watching at home. It's been a crazy couple of years, right? So those of you that know me know that I died June 15th, 2019, right? And I died because I was an alcoholic, a drug addict. I had mental illness. I was being treated, but not properly, right? And I had been approximately 37 years old at the time and been an alcoholic since I was a young teen, drug addict the same way. So I was a really smart kid, smart guy, you know, even. And I got kicked out of school a couple times, the first year in kindergarten and the last year as a senior. So I had trouble, you know, throughout. Went to my first rehab at 17 years old. I was doing every drug you could imagine, you know, worked in a tattoo parlor as the manager, piercer, worked at night as security in an after hours club. You know, it was a party nonstop. And as a 17-year-old, I lost control. So I'm going to fast forward from 17 to 27 because that's 10 years, a decade worth of drinking, drugging, being addicted to crack, pills, opioids, you name it. I did it, right? And I had an addiction to it. It wrecked my life and those closest to me. And there's a lot of horrors in those 10 years, right? I could do an episode easily about each one of those years, but I'm going to fast forward through really a lot of the crap, right, that I went through. And to age 27, I finally got my life together, right? I been arrested 12 times so far, I believe, at that point in my life. Easily over 10. All of them alcohol related. Out of those 10 years, I didn't have my license for 7.5 of those years because I got multiple DUIs. My second DUI came with mandatory jail time, loss of license for no 5 years. You know, and I was not the type of guy, even though I got in a lot of trouble and had a drinking problem. Once I got into the system, I was processed in jail. It was clear that I had an advantage that a lot of people there didn't have, and that was an education, a family, a support system, right? But I was very selfish and egotistical, and you know, I thought that I was the king of the world, and I even really thought that I was almost like a god, that I could control the world, right? So egotistical, a classic alcoholic. I just didn't know it at the time. So I had started to go take college a little bit more seriously when I was 27. I had just recently graduated with my first associate's degree, and I ended up getting a master's degree in entertainment business. I did exceptionally well while I was there. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. You know, I was, as the troublemaker that I was, the drug addict that I was, the alcoholic, you couldn't count on me. You know, I was just lost. And so when I went to school, I got perfect attendance from my associate's degree to my master's degree. The entire time I walked to school during that time. So, I can tell my kids how, I walked to school when I was your age through the 100-degree weather, a mile and a half there, mile and a half back. And I did very well in school. My first couple of years, it took a little while for me to get acclimated. By the time I was got my bachelor's degree, I graduated salutatorian, gave the commencement speech at graduation. I graduated with a 3.96 GPA with my master's degree. Life was great, right? I was headed towards a marketing director job for a foam fabrication company up in the area of the country where I grew up in the United States, up in the Northeast. So I headed back there. Confidence was full. I was actually rather sober at the time. I didn't drink or do drugs for 4 years while I was in college, while I got my second associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, and my master's degree. During that 4.5 years, I was sober. Just by the grace of God, by luck, I was just sober. When I started to work, though, again, I started to make really good money. I was a marketing director, like I said. I got, I'm sorry if I said a 3.69. If that's what I said, that's stuck in my mind just because of HEX. I had a 3.96 GPA. I say that a lot because of the numbers from Tesla. So let's see, where was I? Did very well, right, as the marketing director. Learned website development while I was in college. I just picked it up through some projects that I was working on with friends, and learned copywriting, business copyright to create professional wording for a website, search engine optimization, internet marketing. I was really good. I made $1 million every year after the first year that I was there, online for a company that had no online presence before I got there. So the boss was happy. I was happy. I did very well. I ended up getting promoted to be the general manager of that company. It was a 50-employee company, $5 to $6 million in gross sales annually. I had a very healthy paycheck, stupid bonus. Life was good. I had the American dream, right? I had failed ridiculously, made it through a really tough challenge of life, and started to do very well. I then incorporated drugs back into my life, alcohol and drugs. So it didn't take long before that took over. And right in the midst of me having everything together, nothing was actually falling apart totally at this point. I reunited with my wife, who I had gone to high school with and had a romantic relationship, intimate relationship. We were boyfriend and girlfriend for on and off a couple times over the years when we were very young. We have a fantastic story that I'd love to get into sometime that's really unbelievable, but that's not what today is about. So I ended up getting back with my wife. We ran into each other serendipitously, ended up getting married rather quickly, even got pregnant on our honeymoon, bought a house almost immediately. We had our first daughter. So I was a full-blown raging alcoholic, functional, had a closet drug problem, but all those closest to me knew it. My wife, my parents, my brothers and sisters, my good friends, they all knew what I was doing. And I was living a lie, right? Because I was unhappy. I had all these things, all this money, all these status symbols, everything I could check off the list, but I felt empty inside. And that was just because I wasn't helping anybody. I was selfish. Right. So what did it take to wake me up? Right. Why am I telling everybody all this? I ended up being recruited from a Fortune 500 company, from that general manager position that I was in at the small company. And I thought, my big head, my ego, I want to go see what I'm made of in a corporation where there's tens of thousands of employees. I want to work to the top of that. And so I went there full of ego, selfish. Showed up, and it didn't go my way. So like everything else in life, when things didn't pan out the way that I thought they were, I ended up drinking, right? And I ended up hiding that from those around me. And because I have alcoholism, because I am an alcoholic, it's permanent, progressive, permanent, patient, progressive, and fatal, right? And that progressive part is difficult for a lot of people who are young, myself included, that had the rough ride of alcohol like I did. I thought I could beat it, I thought you were the alcoholic, but I wasn't. I can master this. You're the one with the problem, right? And that's what every alcoholic thinks until their disease progresses to the point of owning you or me. It owned me. It would absolutely own me, right? So I'm going to fast forward to June 15th, 2019. And it was a day I had been waiting for over a year, because I thought I was going to be walking into this promotion when I got there, where I was recruited. I was promised this package, right? And it didn't pan out like they promised. Surprise, surprise. And probably mostly my fault. So I ended up going to the meeting, so I thought, to get my promotion this day that I had recently now interviewed for. I waited over 6 weeks after the interview to just wait and wait and wait after waiting a year, right? So I had been waiting, and it didn't go my way. I didn't get the promotion. They passed on me. They promoted somebody else, a coworker that was very well suited for the job, as we all were. And it was heartbreaking. So I ended up leaving that night. I had not been drinking, at least not showing people that I had. If I was, I had been buying nips on the way to work, or at break leaving to go get some more nips, or at home or on my way home getting even more, right? And hiding all that, pretending to hide all that from my wife. I worked the second shift. So I would come home a lot at night when everybody was asleep. So I could hide it a little bit. That night, though, June 15th, I decided to go to the bar. And I had some beers, I had some drinks, and the bar ended up closing down because I got out of work late, second shift, like I said. So the bar ends up closing, and there's only a couple spots around New England, right, that are open after the bars are closed. And they're, gentlemen's clubs, right? So I headed to the gentlemen's club to go get lost, right? Go drink some more, just act like a kid again, right? To just be somewhere I'm not supposed to be. I haven't been in a strip club in 5 years. Right. So I go in there, I'd been drinking a little bit. I never carried cash on me. It's a habit as a young kid I got rid of because I was a drug addict. So I never wanted to end up with cash in my pocket at night, because bad things would always happen. So I haven't used cash in 20 years. If I have cash on me, it's because of a very unique circumstance. So that night at the gentleman's club, they offer you $120 or $100 if you give them $120 on your credit card. Funny money, it's called, right? So I got it. It's real money, though. So I got the real money. I gave him $120, got $100 back. Was already having a few beers, feeling good. Wouldn't you know it, that immediately when that happens and I get there, that place also shuts down, right? So now I got a few more beers in me, ready to go. I now have $100 in my pocket, and I have a buzz on, right? And I'm trying to forget life, and I'm a drug addict, alcoholic that likes to really hurt myself when things get down, right? Not necessarily on purpose, but if you look back at what I did, and if you're like me, then you know what I'm talking about. I ended up wanting to go get some marijuana, right? I grew up near the city. As a young kid, I would go down there, no problem. I have a license, right, in the state that I'm in that had expired for medical marijuana. It was so expensive, I couldn't afford it anymore. Just couldn't afford with how much I was smoking. So I ended up going to the city to get some marijuana, buzzed up, money in my pocket. And I drive around, and I find somebody. I pick him up. I know how this works, right? I pick up a guy. He wants drugs. We go to the drug spot. He's going to get me something for him. I give him some money to get something for him as well. So he comes back with marijuana for me. He wants, hard drugs. Not a drug I'm into anymore, but comes back with the marijuana for me and gives me a good amount of it. And so buzzed up, the money I gave him, I didn't get ripped off. I was kind of surprised. I was like, wow, do you think you could go back and get me another one of these? And do they have anything harder? And, I had recently had a bout with opioids and blues, they're called around here, 30 milligram Percocets. They're big around here, and they're usually fake, right? And we didn't know this back then. But, I had known about fake pills pressed with fentanyl, and they can have the blue color and they can have the numbers, put right in them. And they're fake pills. And one of those bad pills can have just a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of stuff in it, and it'll kill almost anybody. Right. So in my mind, I'm not thinking about these bad pills. I'm just thinking about getting messed up. Right. Because I want to hurt myself because I'm an alcoholic. And here I go again. And so I ask for the harder drugs. And he says, yeah, they got something. They have H. Right. So I said, yeah, give me that. That's heroin. Right. Not something a normal person does on a Friday night, just to kick back. So Comes back with 1 bag of heroin, and I'm buzzed up, happy with the bag of marijuana I got. We start driving off, and I encephalate the bag of heroin, right? $5 means I put it on my hand, and right, it's gone. Within minutes, I had never ingested a drug like that before in my life. Fentanyl is nothing like heroin, which I had consumed on multiple occasions throughout my life. That takes a while to kick in. Doesn't come on like a punch to the face, but fentanyl, something I had no experience with, more importantly, my body had no experience with, shut down, right? So as soon as I ingested that fentanyl, it was a matter of minutes that I passed out at the wheel, right? I OD'd from the fentanyl, and the last memory I have is nodding out with a guy that I didn't know say, "Hey man, what are you doing?" Right? And the next thing that happened is I woke up in a CAT scan machine, strapped down, my legs, my waist, my shoulders. And they said, "Don't move. We think you broke your neck and your back." Right? And I don't have any memory of breaking my neck and my back. I don't have any memory of a car accident. I don't have any memory. Right? So I got scared. And I got really, really scared. Right? It's not something you can ever even imagine, the situation that you're in, that I found myself in repeatedly, where you do something and then you wake up and this circumstances are different. And I've experienced this before as an alcoholic, right? But this was different. This was really scary. And I was fully naked in the machine. I was crying like a baby, like a child. I was begging for my mother, for my wife, for anybody to help, right? And I was really, just really terrified. And I ended up suffering a traumatic brain injury. I had hit my frontal temporal lobe really hard, which regulates decision-making, emotions. It also handles addiction, or the ability to fight off an addiction, right? So now I smashed the part of my head that really, the type of person I am, getting into trouble all the time, can't control my emotions, an addict. It was really bad for that type of injury to happen to somebody like me. So began the toughest, bout of my life, right? I'm going to go for about another 10, 15 minutes, 15 at the most here. I'm going to try to wrap it up in the next 10 minutes. I do want to get RG on here, and I know RG's, preparing some stuff to get on, doing some things around, with his family as well. So heads up, RG, in about, 10, 15 minutes, we'll get it on, brother. So the toughest challenge, to date began. I had extreme paranoia and anxiety. It ruled me because of the accident. I ended up thinking that people were out to get me. So at work, I became super paranoid, and I started to fabricate these elaborate stories that were just asinine, ridiculous. And it really affected me negatively. Also, because my memory was so bad, I didn't know that my memory was bad. So my wife and my boss kept telling me, "Hey, something's wrong." My boss pulled me aside one day, 3 weeks after my accident. And he said, "Hey, Joe, you got to go to the neurologist. You got to get checked out. Something's not right with you." So I went, excuse me. I went, and I ended up taking a leave of absence from work, because really what it did was it caused me emotional physical damage, if there is such a thing. The type of person that would have the type of brain injury that I have would be prone to mental illness, and those type of people that suffer brain injuries have what I had. So it wasn't necessarily a physical ailment. It was emotional from the physicality that I went through, right? So I had no memory. If you were talking to me and you gave me direction, I would actually forget what we're talking about as we're talking. You would bring it back up and say it again, and then I'd ask you to clarify again. "I'm sorry, I forgot what we were talking about." That's how bad my memory was. And I had a rather semi-important job at the time. It's not, I had to get direction, and I had to give it. So that wasn't acceptable, right? You can imagine, it was a little scary to realize that I was as bad as I was. So I left, I got a leave of absence. I enrolled myself in a behavioral group where we could discuss problems like that. I got into an adult partial hospitalization program. I started seeing different doctors, right? Different drugs started coming around for the brain injury. I've taken every drug imaginable for depression, for I've even been treated for bipolar, right? And I don't believe that I'm bipolar. I just believe that I went down the rabbit hole of being treated for it. Some terrible medications that were truly dangerous. This one in particular, lamotrigine or Lamictal, I was prescribed. It's actually so dangerous that as you're getting on it and off of it, you have to be really careful with the dosage because your skin can actually melt off your body. So it's a nightmare of a drug. It stole my memory. So I used to take these different medications to help my memory. That's why I was going to seek the help. But I had to be careful because I didn't want to take anything that I was familiar with before that had negative side effects. So I began this endeavor of try this, try that, intravenous ketamine, Spravato, which is nasal ketamine spray, lithium, everything you can imagine, right? And that I was sober for the first time as an adult after college, after my accident where I died, was revived, had a brain injury. I kept that sobriety for nearly 6 months because I had, what a story did I have to tell? I can go into any meeting, right? Any 12-step program, and what a story do I have, right? So I thought I won, again, my ego. But it just comes back and it wipes me out not too long later, 6 months later. So the next time I drink, right, as I'm trying to fight through getting better with this brain injury, I had this obsession about alcohol. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It wasn't a physical craving. It was a mental obsession. And it owned me. I couldn't knock it. And so one particular night, I was arguing with my wife, and we had argued so much that we decided that when we argue, the best thing is I just leave, right? Let me just get out of here. And because I hadn't been drinking, hadn't even been hiding it, when I left that night, I went right to the liquor store, right? I was going to go stay in another town where my parents have a house. They weren't there that particular night. I was going to go crash there. I ended up drinking some alcohol. I blacked out before I even knew it. Next thing, I woke up the next day. I didn't think a thing about anything. I didn't know what happened. Called my wife and didn't realize that I had been making threats about killing myself, that I would go in the garage and put the car on, basically just coming up with some wild stuff to really scare her. And I was being aggressive and, threatening. And that morning, she didn't want me to come back to the house, and I had no idea why. And then she started sending me texts, and, I started to understand, and I was driving home, and I came home and I started to have almost a seizure because I was so dehydrated from the alcohol, from taking the lithium. And I was essentially hospitalized against my will when I got back to my house. There was, within minutes, there was a lot of cops, and they hospitalized me against my will. That was early December of 2019. Didn't drink again. I got out of the hospital. Didn't drink again until the next time, which was in January, right? January of 2020 was the last time I drank alcohol. It was the worst day of my life. I ended up getting arrested because I drank to the point of blacking out at home with my wife and 2 young girls. My father-in-law was in the house. I had such paranoia about people coming to get me that I was telling my father-in-law that they're coming to get me, and when they get here, I'm going to kill everyone. I'm going to kill everyone I see when they get here. And he made the decision to call the police, and he made the right decision. He saved my life. Right? The cops saved my life that night. The policemen, the people that I hated on my whole life because I thought I was a tough guy, and they were pieces of crap. They're real men, and those real men helped save me that day. So very thankful. Getting a little choked up. I apologize. So just real quick, last 5 minutes, and I'm going to bring RG in here. When all that happened, when I got arrested, I was alone, kicked out of my house, right? I wasn't allowed back from the police, the courts. Got put an ankle bracelet on. I had my job still because I was still out on my leave of absence for my last week. So I went back to work hiding my ankle bracelet, trying to pretend that didn't happen, living out of my car and living wherever I could at my mother's house. They finally found out that I had gotten arrested outside of work, and they ended up letting me go. They fired me, right? They found out about my brain injury, about my arrest, and we parted ways. So I ended up going into COVID, unemployed, alone, ankle monitor on. Last 3 times I drank, I died, was hospitalized against my will, and then arrested. I had lost my wife. I lost my 2 girls, even lost my dog and 2 cats, right? So I was bumming, and COVID came and hit. The money that I was using to not pay my mortgage, the money that I was been collecting from unemployment, I used to in the stock market, which I got wrecked, right? I started to day trade, started to get in and out, keep my time busy. I ended up finding Hex because of all that, right? So I got wrecked in trading, right? It could have been much worse. I ended up leaving with a nice chunk of money, but not what I put in. And I found Hex, right? So on August 17th, I went golfing with Hex Live, and he introduced me to Hex. 2 days before that, I was actually suicidal, right? I was 2020, made it through COVID, still not with my wife, not with my girls. Life was brutal, right? But I was sober, still got suicidal, right? So something miraculous happened when I found Hex. I also found my friend Hex Live at the time too. We really reconnected at that moment. So it was, for me, it was Hex Live, Richard Hart, the community, right? And what is the community to me? It's Hexo, it's the hexologist. And then it's RG3, right? That's how I came into the community, is those 2 guys. And what they both taught me is routine, right? To set expectations and then to deliver, and to set that routine and to be responsible with it, right? You don't ever say that you're going to do something and then not do it. And then you build trust. And then a community is built around that trust. And those guys set that example for me, right? And it was in RG's chat room that I met Maddie Allen, right? I was telling my story one day. The first time I mentioned anything, within a matter of seconds, Maddie reached out and said, "Hey, I'd like to write an article about your story." And shortly after that, Maddie and I started streaming. Maddie's a beast, so he's got a million projects going at once. The one thing that he did include me on, which was amazing and very appreciative of it, was the Hex Change conference. Planning that, the relationships that I have because of that, executing that, meeting everybody. So now to be a cutthroat, right? To be on this channel, to be on Discourse Syndicate, to be sober, to have my family back, right? To have my wife talk to me. I have my wedding ring on right now. My girls, I just spent the last couple of weeks with them, other than Vegas, the couple months before that. Life is good. My parents are here. They're down Florida. They're Hexicans. My nephew's getting into Hex. I was just hired by Rock at LDA, where Nicole and Nerd Girl works. I have a job in crypto that pays me, right? These are all things that are outside of the gains that I've made in Hex. That's not anything to do with money, right? So I'm here sober. I'm here grateful. I'm very thankful to be here, to be a Hexican. I eat, sleep, and breathe. I bleed Hex, right? Just like RG, just like Hexo, just like all my heroes, right? And so to have this moment right now, to have who's about to come on screen, come on with me and share his testimony, it's, life is good. And I just want to make sure I take notice of these moments, because, there's some tough ones. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody for hearing that out. I'd love to, talk more about it sometime. I can obviously go forever on it. I want to bring in the captain of the Discourse Syndicate, my friend, RG, mentor, somebody I look up to in this space as a man, as a brother, as a friend. I'm truly honored right now to have the captain, RG3. So RG, how's it going, brother?
Ahoy, crypto pirates. How you doing, buddy? How's it going, Joe?
Going good. Dude. So went a little long there, but
no. It was great, man. It's brave, and your story's freaking amazing, man. For you to be sitting here, talking to us, doing what you do, it's amazing. And hopefully we can talk for the next few minutes, hour, half hour, whatever it is that this lasts, about what that success looked like. And we heard the horror story. We all felt it. We felt it through you. And what does the success look like? What road was paved for us to fix wretches like us, right? Because you talked about our situations being anonymous. I've done the same. I've kind of stayed anonymous, and everybody knows that that RG3 doesn't drink, and it's a big joke, hey, I break out in handcuffs when I drink. But it's funny, but it's the truth, and that's what makes those situations for guys like you and me, we have to talk about them like that, because it's really a sad reality of who we were, and what we were all about, because when we went to the event, by the way, it was freaking awesome actually getting to meet you, shake your hand, fucking throw my arms around you and look you in the face and talk. And, the moments we got to spend out at the penthouse, hanging out, chilling out, looking out at the freaking Las Vegas skyline and just chatting was good times, man. And, we would have never had it if it wasn't for people that, put their hands out and said, hey, we can do this, you can do this and we can do this together. So I've got to give credit to other people also. It wasn't me, because that ego is a hell of a drug, right? I mean, we talked about it a minute ago. It really always boils down to the ego that fucks us. It always does, because my story is a lot like kind of like Richard's in a way. Richard, I don't know how his life was molded by his family and everything, but my mom was 15 when she was pregnant with me, and shortly after I was born, within a couple of years, my father was in prison. So that's the kind of life I started out with. I grew up in Inglewood, California. For those of you who don't know what the Wood is, the Wood is like it is. That's where the Crips were born. That's where that whole era started back in the 70s when I was a little boy. In the third grade, you had to fly colors. You had to say what side of the fence you were on. Third grade. In the third grade, wow. You were flying, and you're flying colors. And my elementary school was right across the street from the Forum, fabulous Forum where the Lakers used to play. Prostitutes up and down the street. Literally, when we were out playing in the playground, there were prostitutes out there in the fence. We'd go talk to them. So that was my neighborhood. That's what I grew up in. My house right next door to me was a liquor store. Literally right next door to my neighborhood home, there was a little liquor store right there in our neighborhood. And, all the gangbangers back then, gangbanging was a little different in the 70s than it was in the 90s and the 80s and 90s and in 2000s. There was a different style of gang activity that was going on. That store would be robbed regularly. The family that owned it. We actually we were friends with that family. They were next door neighbors. They lived in the liquor store. We watched one of them. There was two brothers. We watched one of them get murdered right in between our home and the liquor store. Me and my brother would be riding our big wheels, and somebody would be running out of the liquor store with a gun and money and jumping over us and running out in the street. By the time I was in the 4th, 5th grade, I had seen, 4 or 5 people murdered in front of my house. It was that was the way it was back then. And in that neighborhood anyway. So kind of grew up with that lifestyle. And so I learned at an early age, well, the way my story kind of resonates with Richard's is that I tested very, very high in IQ in school. They said, hey man, this kid's like, your kid's gifted. So they sent me to the test, and I took the test, and I tested really high, but my mom couldn't afford to put me in the special school or anything. So they put me back in general population. Right. So I was just, this kid that was supposedly he was smart. But so what I did was I used my brain power, because I was like, I was the only, how did Richard put it? I was the only kid that could reflect light better than most of the kids in my neighborhood. There was like 3 of us in our whole school. And so, so I learned how to fit in, adapt, and use things to my benefit. So I got smart in that way. And, and then of course, as we started to get older and you start becoming a street entrepreneur, and you start becoming, you start getting in the scraps, and then all of the evil starts happening, and then your innocence is gone, and you've done things that you can never take back. And, and so that was my life as a kid. And so eventually my mom remarried a stepdad that tried to take us in and raise us and try and get us, out of that area. and it didn't work. I was too deep into it, and a good friend of mine was killed, and others beat up, and I was next on the list kind of situations, and so I ended up homeless because my parents didn't want me around anymore. So at 16, I was living on my own beside the freeway and in people's garages. And somebody decided that they wanted to help me out. It was one of those counselor type situations, and it was my first time that somebody actually, I had that wee moment, where like I'd been alone all this time, like trying to survive where I was. And somebody finally said, hey, look, and the way they helped me was they stuck me in a room with a police officer and a Marine drill instructor, or a recruiter. I'm sorry. It was a recruiter. And they said, hey, which one of these guys you want to end up with? And I knew I knew the cop. He knew me. We knew each other. It was like, it was just, we knew each other. And he looked right at me like, I got your ass now, motherfucker. You're mine. And the Marine looked right through me. He didn't even see me sitting there. It was like he was there as a favor to somebody else, and I didn't exist. I could just tell this guy didn't have any interest in me whatsoever. And that intrigued me. And like you, man, I was scared. I didn't want to go down like things were going down in my neighborhood. I was a young man. I was 17 years old. I was living beside the freeway, and I was being hunted. And so I said, well, you know what? I want to go with that guy. And so I joined the Marine Corps and got out of there. My family moved out of the neighborhood. Thank God, they got out, and nothing bad happened to them or my other siblings. And they left the state, went to Colorado, and I joined the Marine Corps. And I'd like to say that my story gets really good from there, but it doesn't. I got out, and all I knew was I was a street kid with all of these entrepreneurial skills and street smarts, and now I can kill people, very, very efficiently with zeal and fervor and all the stuff that the Marine Corps taught me. So it was like stacking one bad skill after another for my situation, right? And I got out of the Marine Corps, and again, I went right back to my element. I was right back in the streets. I was right back out there doing my thing, and before I knew it, I was in that place. You know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to get too deep into all of that stuff, but by chance, I got hooked up in the Hollywood community, working for a radio station, and they just liked my skills. They thought it was cool. Whatever it was, they decided to give me a chance, working as an intern. And I quickly went from intern to I was a producer of a morning show. I was the assistant producer of the Kevin and Bean morning show. Awesome. And I was a personality, in promotions. And before I knew it, I was hanging out backstage with, the likes of, Lollapalooza bands, Jane's Addiction, all the 90s bands, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, you name it. It was a big party. And I was ill-equipped for a big party.
I know what you mean.
So it was hard on me because I was hard on it. And I took a gift that was given to me and I squandered it, man. I squandered it. I just, I didn't look at all of the things that were put in front of me as, opportunities. I looked at them as things for me to exploit and use. And that's that ego thing. I thought I had arrived and I was going to use the hell out of it. And I did. And it ended me up just like you. And the last time that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, somebody, there was another moment where somebody had handed me a phone. He grabbed my wallet, and it was a group of friends. They were people that were sober. I didn't understand that. I was at this party and this group of people that, mutual friends. And this one guy who's like, hey man, look, And he saw me, he saw what was going on with me. He's like, this guy's a wreck, right? So he said, hey, give me your wallet for a second. I said, yeah, what are you talking about? He goes, let me see your wallet. He wrote his phone number down. He said, I'm going to stuff this thing in the back of your wallet. So you don't even know it's there. He goes, but if ever one day you're done with this lifestyle of yours, give me a call. And I knew what he was talking about because I knew what this group of people were, And I said, thanks, brother. Thanks. I put my wallet away. Didn't think nothing of it. And then the day I needed it, it was there. And I pulled that piece of paper out. And again, once again, I was homeless. Nobody wanted to have anything to do with me. And, you desperate times, desperate measures. And that little piece of paper was really all I had. Right. So I pulled that piece of paper out, made that phone call. And, that was when I was 28 years old. And since then, I haven't had to live that type of lifestyle anymore. And it's been onward and upward. And, but it wasn't because of my own doing. It was because somebody put their hand out and said, hey, let's do this together and help you. You're a good human being. Yeah. You've got skills. You've got things to add to the world. Let's make sure that you do that. And I can help show you how to do that because you're ill-equipped for life. You don't understand how to live life on life's terms. And that was new to me because I thought I had life by the balls, right? I was 20 years old, fucking done everything, been around the world, Yeah. I'd done everything, every ill-conceived thing imaginable, things that we you'll never talk about, things that you want to talk about, things that are, fucking historical significance, shit like that, Yeah. I thought I had to work by the balls, but then I realized I didn't even know how to get up in the morning and make my fucking bed.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to feed myself when I was supposed to eat in the proper way. I didn't know how to communicate with other people on their terms, So I say that because there are people out there that are experiencing this. And for the last 27 years, I've been helping people to experience that themselves and put my hand out and give them that we moment, And most of them don't accept it. I've watched a lot of them come and go. I buried a lot of them, with tears in my eyes and with, that one, we knew that one was going to happen, I do what I do now, for others because it's what was done for me. Somebody gave back when I needed it. And, and this community that we're creating here in Hex, I don't know if there's people out there that need help like that or, even need that kind of, real interaction or whatever. But I wanted to give back in some way here because of what was given and just kind of in the same spirit, do that with this community, with Discourse Syndicate. I wanted everybody to be able to showcase themselves and show their strengths and everybody put their hands out and give us all a wee moment because, it's been that underdog situation. Hex has been beat the fuck up, and Richard's been beat up. And all of us who started streaming in the early days, we were beat up, not that it really mattered because we knew what we had our hands on. We knew we had the tiger by the tail, and that there was nobody who was going to be able to stop us eventually. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy always being called the plebs, being called the liars, the cheats, the thieves, the Ponzi scheme, scammer artists, the Richard Hart freaking followers, the cult, all of that shit that they call it. It wasn't easy. Nobody likes being, put down. So we put on our armor and we went out there and we did battle, and to some extent, it's given us a little PTSD. I see sometimes in Twitter, somebody will fire something off, and before you know it, there's like freaking 3 or 4 dead bodies laying around, and Hexkin standing there with freaking bloody swords, and it's like, oops. And it's oops, it's part for the course. It's part of it. It is what it is. They helped create the monster that is our community. And now they're going to have to pay the price for it because a bunch of ruffian, upstart, freaking underdogs are the ones who created this community. It wasn't a moneyed effort. It wasn't Richard, paying for some influencers to go out there and create a community. We did this on our own. And you just happen to have a bunch of freaking derelict fucking Marine Corps, military minded, thugs and smart guys and freaking crypto experts that got together and said, no, now we're a brotherhood. And then, and then they pumped us. They pumped our freaking bags, and now they've got to deal with who we are. So, I've always wanted to be the guy that gave us all the we moment, like, hey, community, show yourselves, get in the front lines and let's go do this together. We can do this together. We don't have to be alone. And with Discourse Syndicate, that's what I was hoping to do, bring everybody up to the forefront and, and have be able to have the courage to do it. Because a lot of people, they would send me messages like, oh man. And even you yourself, Joe, like, hey bro, I'm just, I'm trying to get my courage up to get on stream and boom, boom, boom. And I say, nah, man, you guys can do it. If I can do it, you guys can do it. Come on, just jump up there. Just get on a Friday night and jump up in the group,
Oh yeah. Friday night. That was wild to do that for the first time. That's an endeavor, before you do it. And then you're right though. You just got to do it.
You just got to do it. It's just like the program that we do, it's like, you just got to jump into it. You just got to take that leap of faith and jump into it and make something happen. Just make that thing happen and just do it one little bit at a time, man. You don't have to make some big plan and say, you know what, I'm stream for 10 years. I'm going to stream for the next 15 years while my stakes are going. No, man, you know what? I'm going to stream today. That's it. I'm going to stream today, and I'm going to plan on it. And then I'm going to, the next day you go, I'm going to stream today too. It's just a little bit at a time. You don't have to make some big plans. I mean, we're just a community. It's not like it's a job, like you're committing yourself to it. But, I've committed myself to the community, of course, and I've been consistent and persistent because I know that that's what wins the war is consistency and persistency. And they can't, as long as we continue to do that, Hex is so fucking good that all we've got to do is be consistent and persistent and we'll win. We've already won. They just don't know it yet. They still think that they got a handle on crypto. They don't. They've lost control of it. Hex has taken over crypto. They just don't know. They just don't realize that their head has been lopped off. They're just standing there in shock because when Pulse Chain comes out, it's really game over. They've lost control of the whole thing. And it's going to be about us scooping up people, bringing the community, making the community even stronger, and then re-educating the crypto community on what crypto is. And that is Hex and Pulse, how crypto was supposed to look,
Yeah.
So not
absolutely.
to get too far off the subject and get into Hex, but I'm always talking about Hex, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to hear you. I'll either keep talking about Hex or do you want to keep going about your testimony, story, personal story.
So I try to stay out of the weeds with my my experience. I like the strength and hope part because the strength part was I couldn't, but we could. I couldn't do it on my own. I couldn't stay out of trouble on my own with my own devices, with my education, with my upbringing, with who I was. I couldn't live life on life's terms. I watched people like Bradley Lowell, who was in the same community as I was in the music community, die from copping from the same people that a lot of my friends were, and so when I was able to have that sober moment, I was watching other people die at 28 years old. When I'm at 28 years old, I got somebody put their hand out and said, hey, we can do this together and I can help you. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to die. I don't want to live the life I've been living. And there was something back there that said that there was more. There was more. And at first it was my ego telling me I wanted more, but as time has gone on, after those first few years of getting the fog out of my head and learning, how to live life on life's terms, I started realizing that giving back and reciprocating what was given to me and watching other people's success, watching other people get out of despair was like the reward. That was really the reward, you know? And that's how I feel here with the Hex community and with what it is we're doing, is that there was a point after its launch that I realized that Hex was the real deal. You know, at first we were scared, man. Me and Hexo used to have conversations in the background, bro. Like, fuck, man, you think Richard's really going to fucking not?
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
you know, because we had that one ass clown fucking dump 150 million Hex. And at that point we were all like, I mean, me and Hexo were on the phone like, fucking dude, fuck, man, because you know, we hadn't talked to Richard much. We weren't, you know, part of this community at that point. It was like, fuck, man, we dumped some money into a coin and we were just hoping that this motherfucker was really on the up and up. Even though we watched hours and hours, and I was like, man, I think this dude's down, man. I really do think he's down. He's like, he sounds like he's from the hood, sounds like he's fucking on the up and up. I don't think he's going to punk out. I think he's the real deal, man. I really think this guy's, you know, he was in it for we, you know, that's how I felt. I was like, I think this dude's putting his hand out. This is a we moment here, man. You're right. And so once I realized that it was, the fucking game was over, bro. It was on. I was like, no. I got to get this message and what I know out to the people. And there was others like me that were getting it too. You know, all the cats that got into DS early on, and, you know, Kyle helped Kyle was so instrumental in helping us really figure this out, because, you know, he was very open and honest in our conversations that I had off stream with him about his involvement, his relationship with Richard, his relationship with the project. And that was like key to me. It was like, you know, being in the hood and knowing somebody that you needed to trust, but knowing the inside guy that knew him real well, that interacted with him. It's like, nah, this dude's got too good of a story with that cat to think that guy's going to fuck me over. Yeah. So I put those two and two together. And at that point, man, I was like, it's on. It's on. You know, now I got to get the rest of these community members together so that we can start getting this message out, man, start getting it out. And because once people get this and we get a strong community built, man, there ain't nothing going to stop it. And we're going to help so many people, because, you know, I looked at crypto as my way out of the rat race, because, you know, even though life is good, look, I've been married for 20 years. I got kids that I've raised that are phenomenal, upstanding human beings. You know, my son, I can't say enough good things about my oldest boy. My daughter is just awesome, beautiful, got a good head on her shoulders, none of the crazy, you know, teenager stuff. She's just freaking, you know, she's focused, knows where she's going. My 5-year-old now, it's, you know, it was, the jury's still out on that little guy, but he's a lot of his dad. That's the problem. He's a lot of his dad, and he's a little self-willed kind of guy going right. So he's only 5, so I'm gonna give him some time here. But I say that because, you know, life was good to me, but it cost me a lot. It cost me a lot, man. I you know, the program that you and I subscribe to teaches us how to live life on life's terms. So what it meant was I got to take care of my family. I got to take care of all those gifts that were given to me, which was my kids, my wife, you know, squaring our finances away, keeping her home to raise the kids. So I had to have a job and a business on the side. And so I worked very, very hard and to try and provide that for them. But unfortunately, I gave up something. And I gave up 2 things. I gave up my physical body and I gave up my time. So my son grew up without me. My oldest grew up without me there. You know, I was there, but fuck, man, I was working 14, 12-hour days, 16-hour days, 6, 7 days a week, sometimes out of town, you know. And when I was home, I was beat the hell up. There was no baseball. There was no school plays. There was no science fairs. You know, I didn't attend all that shit. I was like barely able to move half the time, you know, and get up and get my back going again. I ended up in the hospital a few times I've got 8 herniated discs, you know, from my job. And So my arms have gone numb. My back is thrown out to where I can't get out of bed, but I still got to go to work kind of thing, you know? So it came at a cost. And I looked at crypto because I'm like, this, you know, this can't be all there is. You know, I didn't go through everything that I went through in life and then give back as much as I gave back and work so hard as I did for this to be the fucking end, you know, to go off into the sunset, you know, in a fucking chair because I can't move hardly anymore. And, you know, my kid's like halfway hating me because I wasn't there. But hey, yeah, well, dad provided for us, but he was never there. You know, that whole story. I thought, okay, well, that's me. That's going to be my story, right? My kid's going to be telling it to some therapist someday. Yeah, my dad was good, but he wasn't there to freaking, you know, my baseball game. He wasn't there for my fucking taekwondo championship. You know, he wasn't there for, you know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, there's got to be some better way. This is not how it's supposed to go, man. And I was looking at the money, man. I was looking at the money. And, you know, a lot of guys in my industry, you know, they're hardworking dudes, but they don't have the ambition to do what I did on the side. They're like, fuck it. My old lady can work a little bit. And I'm going to sit on my couch and drink my beer and, you know, nurse my fucking back that way, you know?
Right.
And I watch a lot of them die. I watch a lot of them get sick. A lot of them have prostate cancer now. A lot of these are all guys my age that have just, you know, they're done, man. And they're going into their last years where they're not even going to be able to retire. And they've all got addiction problems themselves and that kind of stuff. And they're losing their wives, or they've lost, half of them have lost their wives. They're on their second, third one, you know? So I'm like, there's got to be more to this than just this, me going off in the sunset, not making it, you know? And the whole retirement thing was like, man, they faked me out of that. They faked the funk on that one for me. I was like, the fuck, you know, don't get me wrong. I you know, I've got another property, so I've done pretty decent. And my wife has been able to stay home and raise the kids while I worked and did work businesses on the side. But it still wasn't there, man. It was like, I wasn't going to get to put my toes in the sand. You know, that's my dream, bro, is I want my toes in the sand. I want to be able to still, you know, go into my late 60s and say, okay, you know, I'm 70 now. I'm done surfing. I'm done spearfishing. I can, you know, that's what I was hoping for somehow, but I wasn't going to be able to do that because I was going to have to work till I was 75, 80 years old, you know, because the money's just not there. So I looked at crypto and I thought, man, okay, but there was no wheeze there, bro. There was no wheeze. There was nobody putting their hand out going, this is going to be the financial product that takes everybody out. Because that's what I read, right? I read all the shit and Satoshi's fucking big dream and all that shit, banking the unbanked. And you know, because in my neighborhood, we didn't have banks. We had fucking check cashing places or liquor stores. You took your check to the fucking liquor store and you got your money. You didn't have a bank. Most motherfuckers I grew up with didn't have bank accounts. You know, you stood in line at the liquor store on Fridays, cashed your check, got your fucking, you know, 18 pack of beer or whatever. And then that's how I saw people living. While crypto was supposed to take care of all that shit, bank the unbanked and even do that in other countries. And I was like, man, this is a cool thing. Maybe this crypto thing is, you know, it, you know, and when I finally saw that, so I tried, man. I tried to see it their way. And even some of my good friends were involved in crypto projects. I don't want to dox them because some of them are still wanted, but I seen all of this scammy shit, man. I seen the mining farms. I went to Thailand and seen some fucking shit, bro. There's some like, when Richard says that they're wasting energy, they're wasting fucking energy, man. I don't give a fuck who you guys, you Bitcoiners are talking about mining and this and that. And it's not, no, that shit's bullshit, man. That shit is hot as a motherfucker. You go into these places that are mining, it's loud, it's hot, it's fucking disgusting, man. It is absolutely it's going like, what are these things doing? And this is ridiculous. I mean, it is the most inefficient looking shit. These things are like, whoo, fucking jamming, man. They're like, they're gonna fucking catch on fire and shit. They're so, you know, and the heat and the fans and the cooling and shit that it's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. So when I saw that, And then I'd read some paper or heard something about proof of stake at that time. I was like, man, that proof of stake's probably the shit, man, because this mining shit's for the fucking birds.
Right.
So I started reading about it, and lo and behold, one of my buddies, he came out with a staking coin. I wanted a stake and blah, blah, blah. Well, it wasn't really stake. What he meant was, I'm going to take your shit and you ain't going to know where it's at. And that's what we're going to call it, staking. But you're really, I'm taking. And you think you're staking, but I'm taking. And that's what he did. And,
Yikes.
and you know, and I didn't invest too much into crypto. But the crypto that I did invest in, a couple of them did good. A couple of them did My Bitcoin always was okay. You know, everything was, you know, doing all right. But it wasn't that thing that I thought. You know, I'm like, well, you know what? Shine this shit. This thing ain't going to work. So 2017 came and I thought, oh, here we go. And you know, started making the digits and it's like, oh shit, man, if this don't ever end, this is going to be good. And then this guy in a fucking, this guy, Richard Hart, gets on freaking stream and says, it's over. Sorry guys, but Bitcoin's done. I'm like, what? No, man, this thing's going, we're mooning, bro. This is good, man. Making some money now. I'm going to retire from this shit. Nope, it's over, guys. I was like, this guy is not fucking right, is he? And well, sure as shit, he was right as a motherfucker, man. He was right. And I was like, well, damn. Well, screw this, right? I said, screw this. I'm done with it. I'm not gonna even deal with crypto anymore. I'm gonna get out of it. And then I caught a stream where Richard actually said, you know, I'm going to build my own thing, right? I'm going to build my own thing. And I said, all right, I'll watch him, see what he does. And, I kept poking in it here and there every now and then just to see what he was doing, what he was talking about. And he was, you know, and he was throwing little nuggets out there. I'm going to do this. And then he came up with the, you know, Bitcoin hex and airdrop it. And it's going to be and when he said, you know, it's going to be a staking coin, a proof of stake hybrid. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Now we're talking. And so I stuck around and waited, you know, I waited and waited till he, you know, launched it. So, you know, of course he launched it right during the whole COVID thing. And I said, well, wait a minute. Is this that we moment? Is somebody finally, you know, going to take ego out of this thing and take their own interest out of this thing and make something for everybody and really do something for crypto? And, you know, so I watched his old videos first, a lot of his old stuff. And you and I both know that the language he speaks is that language of we, and that language of doing the right thing, and that language of living life on life's terms. And so I dug it. I dug his message. I liked what I saw. I liked the honesty I saw in his face. And then I liked even more everybody giving him shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, wait a minute. You guys don't know what you're creating here, because if you try and disparage a person like this and he's on the real, you create a monster. You create something that you can't, one day you won't be able to go up against it. One day you won't be able to combat it, fight it, stop it. That's what happens when you do that to underdogs, and they got the jump on you. You create something that you didn't want to have to go up against. So I said, I'd like to stick around, see that, if that's what's going to happen. Yeah. And so I gave it a chance. I said, you know what? Well, and not that, and I tell everybody this because, you know, one of the things that we teach around here is responsibility, right? You know, you got to be responsible. You got to be responsible with your investments. You got to be responsible with your life, you know, your physical being. We talk about, you know, taking care of yourselves. We talk about, you know, dollar cost averaging in and not doing anything ridiculous with crypto, because it is a volatile space. It's a very volatile space. So for anybody to, you know, put finances in that they need for rent or that they need for bills or that they owe somewhere else, is not the way you do it. This is a very small portion of your portfolio, and, to do it responsibly. So we've tried to teach people that, and that's what Hex has provided, is that same message. And the whole community has provided that same message to everybody. So I'm proud of what we've done here. I'm proud of who I've become in the community, and, try to be a voice of reason, in spite of all the trolls, in spite of all the people that we've gone up against. I think that the community has done an awesome job of taking responsibility for, what Richard has created. And now we just got to get that message out to as many people as possible, and we can change crypto. And I keep saying, this is my new mantra for the year is, they always say, change the money, change the world. Well, you're going to have to change crypto before you can change the money, because crypto has gone astray. Crypto has failed. It has gone the other direction. And the real world, or the real finance world, has every right to say crypto's bullshit right now, because it has been up until Hex was launched. I think crypto has failed, and not that that Bitcoin has been a scam, or Ethereum has been a scam, or a lot of the other projects out there have been scams. There's scams peppered in between all those, but Bitcoin was a good start. It was the beginning, and Ethereum was a good try. And now Hex is providing something that Bitcoin couldn't. It's just better. Period. End of story. It's technology. It's not like Richard parted the seas and did something that is unbelievable. He made a better crypto with technology, is all he did. That's all he did. He didn't do anything super special. It's not like, oh, well, how could he possibly build something better than Bitcoin? It's not hard, guys. It's technology. Technology is always advancing. It's always advancing. Eventually somebody will build something better than Hex. I don't know where, how, or what that's going to look like. Maybe something different than Hex. Maybe, I don't know if there's going to be anything in Hex's wheelhouse that is going to be better than it, but I'm sure there's going to be other cryptos that are going to equal spaces that Hex hasn't occupied. So I don't know. It's Pulse is going to provide something that Hex hasn't, and Pulse is going to provide something that ETH failed to deliver. And I'm really, really excited and interested to see what's going to happen here with Pulse Chain, because I think that Pulse Chain is actually the game changer, the checkmate of what Hex, came to do. And that was to change crypto so that it can change the money. And I think that Pulse Chain is really like checkmate. Now, not only do you have a great crypto, but you have a great delivery system too. And go ahead, crypto. Your turn. What are you going to do with it? I'm going to give it to you. And that's what he's going to do. And the things that we know about Pulse, that's cool and all, but shit, man, there's a lot of stuff. I know, Richard, there's a lot of surprises coming out of this thing.
For sure.
One of the things that's really exciting to me is that he's talking to this Harvard group, and, he's made mention of it a few times. And for a bunch of, smart Harvard guys, not that they're any different than anybody else, but, you got to admit the best of the best get to go to that school. So I'm sure the best of the best as far as mathematics, programming, or whatever, finance are going there. And it looks like these guys might be building a fund. And we all know what that means. The fund is the buzzword right now. Who's doing that in crypto is he who is bringing the the outside users, the non-crypto users to crypto, and that's going to be something to behold if, of course, Hex is involved and Pulse Chain. So,
and RG, if anyone doesn't know, that's because essentially, I believe that would mean that the OA would be potentially, truly locking up those funds forever, because a grayscale type fund, its purpose is to never sell, to only to buy, right? And that's the business plan behind it. So there's potential that anybody that had any sort of previous concern over the FUD of where does the ETH go, come to find out the ETH's going to go right where it should have gone all this time, and it probably was planned right from the start. And that's going to go sit, hold up our value, provide us a great APY. And to think that this man, is brilliant as Richard is and as life-changing as he's been for all of us, doesn't have tricks up his sleeve. I mean, it's amazing what's about to happen. We're truly going to get to watch the most gripping, dramatic, beautiful event that I've ever experienced outside of a book or movie or entertainment. This is money, but it's a video game. It's captivating. It builds community. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. And it is Richard. It is Pulse. It is the Hex. And so if anybody didn't know that, what the Grayscale Fund is going to do, that Pumpamental isn't talked about very much.
No, it's not. And we haven't seen the power of it, connected to Hex, and, even behind this delivery system Pulse that's coming. So the compounding of all of that at once, we already saw how powerful Hex is and what it could do. But compounded with the fund and Pulse, we're in a moment of time where finance is going to be changed possibly forever. Like I said, Bitcoin was a good start, but Bitcoin doesn't have shit on what's about to happen. And I don't say that in a disrespectful way. I want people to understand it. I've always, how can you say that, RG? I get all these fucking DMs, man, all these DMs. So it would be so nice if you'd stop talking about Bitcoin like that, and it would be much more attractive to others if you weren't talking about Bitcoin like that, but I'm not disrespecting Bitcoin. I'm putting it in its proper place, and its proper place is it's old tech, and it was a good start. That's literally all it is. It was a good start, and it's old tech, and there's new stuff that's come out that's better than it. We are in a technology space. That's what crypto is. It is a technology space. Ethereum came after Bitcoin, not to try and steal market cap, but to make Bitcoin better. Not, did people get on the bandwagon and try and turn it into a speculative tool so that they can make money? Yes, they did. But that doesn't mean that Vitalik didn't have a vision to make crypto better. He did. The fucking kid is brilliant, and he did it. He didn't do it. That guy, look at that guy. Do you think he did that for money? No, that's a smart son of a bitch right there. That kid wanted what he was doing to make a difference. That's what he was trying to do. He's trying to make a difference, and he did. And that's what Richard wants to do, is make a difference. He wants to advance crypto. He wants to take it to where it was supposed to be. You hear him say it all the time. Crypto was never designed to have middlemen. Crypto was never designed to be this way. This mining crap is waste. It's bullshit. There's easier, better ways to do it. It's proven. Now all you gotta do is make that a little better, and you've got something. I even knew it early on that proof of stake was the way to go. I was like, oh man, this proof of work crap is just bullshit. Yeah, proof of stake is the way to go. I'm going to find as many staking coins as I can, and there wasn't any. Of course, they were all just rug pulls, and they held your keys, or there wasn't no wallet for this thing, even though it was an ERC20 token. It doesn't have a wallet, and blah 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 blah. So, but Hex did it. Hex changed all that, and Hex made something better than Bitcoin. Richard made something better than Bitcoin with Hex, I should say, and now here we go. We've got Pulse, and it's going to make Ethereum better.
Popping up, huh? Yeah, absolutely. And it's when we are freed up to no longer have to work, right, to do a job that we don't enjoy, to create something that we don't agree with. When we're freed up to do whatever we want, and you have a community of people that are like that, you can only imagine what's going to happen, what is happening, right? I mean, we we're into what we do. We love it. We want to help each other. You know what I mean? This is beyond money. This is beyond any one person. This is one of the best things I've ever experienced in my life. You know, the fellowship that we have as Hexicans is important. Fellowship as a human being is important. And, you know, I like to spend my time in communities, and, you know, I appreciate Richard and, you know, you, RG. I know it's not you. You know, you're a member of this cast that's, you know, dancing around, and but the impact that you in particular have had on me and my close group of Hexican friends that have come in as streamers, and it's truly amazing that you're able to do what you do and inspire me. And so then now I can do what you did for me to somebody else. And I said to you before when I first met you that I look forward to that day when that happens, that when someone comes up to me and says, wow, Joe, do you know that because of this is what happened? And now I've gotten that over and over again. So meaningful every time, and from some really good friends. You know, it's amazing. You know, this is truly special, RG, and I can't thank you enough. You know, I just like to tell everyone, like, I'd be driving around on a Friday night, sober, but not mentally where I needed to be. I had some hex. I was figuring stuff out, but like really, like my life, I was so unstable. And even just in August 2020, I'd be so emotional, right? I'd be tore up, right? Upset with life, just finally like opening up my eyes, but in still a lot of pain. And I remember the day after Thanksgiving, right? So I was alone on Thanksgiving. It was horrific. And I had a terrible night, and Joker had a stream, and Balliot Brand went on Joker's stream, and Balliot Brand was the ski cat of the moment, and he captivated us with his generosity and Joker's excitement. They in concert created this moment in time that I'll never forget. And that carried me into Friday when Discourse Syndicate came on. And it didn't, you know, I just had to get through the day, because I knew at night my family would be there, right? Like these guys, these men and women that, like, we are outcasts. We're from military. We like routines. We've had some trouble. Really very smart group, creative. Like, how did we all end up in this place? We're so special. Each one of our stories, so unique, so almost unbelievable. Yet here we all are. Yeah. You know, and it's just want to keep taking a chance, keep taking a moment to just really remember how special this is, RG, because, you know, sometimes things are pretty tough. And for me to be sitting here with you is very special. Well, yeah, I feel the same way. And what I really, you know, look, my private life and my I guess my road to being a better human being is a private thing. It's an anonymous thing. I expose myself to an extent. I mean, there are things that I share with others in my group that are, you know, and like, you know, my personal mentors, that I just won't do on stream. But I mean, when you did that, when you exposed that to the community, I thought, wow, that's fucking cool. Now he's talking my language. Now I get it. I think that's something that the community needs. And I looked at you like, you know, hey, this guy took it to a whole nother level. You know, he's my hero now. So my hat's off to you, Joe, for actually getting out there and putting your neck out. You know, it's not easy to, you know, it's one thing to sit down with a group of people that understand your situation and pour your heart out to them, tell them your story, you know, share your, like you said, your experience, your strength, your hope, and all that kind of stuff for the future. But it's another thing to jump online and talk to just, you know, there's 117 people watching. I don't know who the fuck's out there. I don't know how many of my enemies are. I mean, it's obvious the trolls. Obviously a couple. Yeah. And you know, fuck them. I don't give a fuck. They can kiss my ass, because ain't none of them ever going to come up to me and say a goddamn thing. So whatever. That's for sure. But you know, it's like you actually stuck your neck out for the first time, and I've had a few people, you know, ask me questions and ask me things, and I said, yeah, you know, I'll tell my story one day. I'll tell people, you know, some of the things, the places where I came from, and why I am who I am, and what you get with me, and why, you know, why should you even trust a guy like me,
Why does the community, trust a guy like me? Because, that's the most important thing that we're developing here is trust. And there's a book by Stephen Covey called The Speed of Trust. And I think it's one of the greatest books that I've ever read when it comes to success in the human experience. Because the only thing that binds us all is that trust, and, I had to create that trust with Richard and his streams because I didn't have a personal relationship with Richard, but I was able to sit there and watch him for 8 hours at a time and go, is this something I can get behind? Is this something that I can put in front of other people? Is this a guy that I can trust? Is this something that I can trust? Because it was hard to trust anything before that because everything else scammed out on us, right? Everything in crypto was bullshit. And so I developed that trust with him. And then as he came into the community, as he started to deal with us on a personal basis and, the few times that we have chatted, the streams that he came and joined us, the 24-hour streams, the things that he said to us, he opened himself up a few times and said, man, you guys are the best. Freaking love you guys. And he sent me personal message that, I know that Richard is down. He's a down motherfucker and he's real. And he has this community's best interest in mind. I don't think he expected it. I don't think that he expected what we really brought, which was a lot of people that had a lot of trust and hope and faith in what it was that he was doing and coming together with a common bond of that. And, and that's why a lot of people, I think, call this a cult, because, we're a bunch of, like you said, we're a bunch of like-minded people that may have gotten a raw deal in life and we're looking for something better. And, when you hear a guy like Richard saying, hey, don't drink, don't gamble, don't play video games, don't trade. You're like, wait a minute, this guy's like speaking my language. This guy's like trying to help people for real, because you don't hear crypto people saying that stuff. You don't hear them saying that. So if this guy's trying to change the world, he's got a book that's got all this stuff in it that he's talking about these things to help other people, then, that started to develop trust with me. I started to develop trust. I can get behind that, and we did as a community. And I don't think he was expecting it. I think that we blew his mind with that. And we're only getting stronger the more and more we start to develop. I mean, come on, dude, fucking Vegas. That was, there's bonds here now. Like
yeah, for life. No doubt.
Yeah, I mean,
beyond that,
there's lifetime bonds now because, we've been working on this thing for a year and a half with each other. And then now all of a sudden you get to meet them face to face, look eye to eye and have a conversation. It just solidified those bonds, and, I pity a fucking fool that tries to break that kind of shit up. You can't.
Oh yeah.
You can't. There's bonds here that you can't break now. And people to come at us, it's going to be worthless because this community is strong now.
Absolutely. And it's amazing that we still have something going right now that's even more exciting than anything that's happened, and
I know.
It's like, how lucky are we to go through everything we just went through, have the friendships and the bonds and then the gains, and then now, hey, you thought that was fun? Wait till you guys see this,
Wait till you get to see this. Till you get to see this. And the coolest part is that we don't know what's going to happen. It's nothing like Hex. It's not. We knew when Hex was going to launch, it was going to be a coin. It was going to be, we were able to stake it. We're going to have to figure out the fundamentals and the game theory and all that. We kind of had a little roadmap of what we're going to do. This is like uncharted territory. This is like, wow, what's the possibilities? Every crypto community is going to be coming over. Every person that has an ERC20 token is now going to have a PRC20 token. Do you value something that was given to you? I mean, do you want it to have value or do you want it to not have value? I mean, how the dynamic that is about to unfold before our eyes is going to be freaking amazing to watch. Amazing to watch.
I shouldn't speculate because I'm not a technological expert in crypto, right? I do have a feeling though that he's about to jump up a whole order of magnitude as far as what there's everybody wants to do certain things, no matter what you're doing in crypto, especially if you're going to fork Ethereum, you want to do these few certain things. Everyone's going to try to do that. I have a feeling that what they're working on is the solution to the next step beyond that. And I have this feeling that they're going to blow everybody's mind. You don't have just Richard Hart over there. You have a squad of brilliant, experienced people that want this, that don't need to work for money, that enjoy each other, and the camaraderie that we have, the brilliance in that room. I can only imagine what's going to come out of it. This is incredible.
There's and even so Discourse Syndicate has turned into basically more than just a community. It's turned into this network now. It's turned into a marketing company that is going to go out and work on Pulse Chain, and you're a part of that, which is cool. We're so excited to have you helping us out and hanging with us.
Thank you, RG.
But it's turning into professionalism, and it's turning into something more. And there are so many things that I can't really talk about that are going on behind the scenes that we're developing. Not just Richard, but all of us are developing. The community is developing. That it's just going to blow people's minds, man. There's all kinds of stuff going on, and it's just going to get better and better and better. And I think crypto's in for a real shock. They're in for a real shock. I'm surprised to see, like, there was a troll. I've said it a bunch of times. There was one of the worst streams ever. Was the lawyers that came after Richard the day that Hex launched. And it's just one of those things that turns my stomach, that it's like the epitome of bad human beings, the way they were acting. And literally, like yesterday, one of those pitiful human beings tweeted like a lie about Hex. Like, this guy claims he's a lawyer, and he lied about Hex and what it is, straight up on a tweet. Fucking like blatant. And it was like, this guy's trying to get clicks. He's trying to get maybe Hexicans to attack him so that he could report him and get their Twitter shut down. I mean, what is it that he's trying to do? I didn't get it, and I was like, I ain't even going to address it. But it just kind of like blew my mind that there's literally still people that are going to attack and lie and do all that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous.
Sorry.
Trying to read the chats.
Yeah, just making sure everything's good over there. Yeah.
Maybe we should take some questions. I don't mind answering personal questions, guys. I mean, if you want to know, you want to know anything else about my story and what I was going through with with Joe here. But yeah. Hey, David Morales. What's up, Dave? Now, that's another dude, man, that I really enjoyed meeting with, was David, because I've always watched him in the chat rooms and watched him, participating and kind of living vicariously through him, watching him go partying around the country, and having fun and stuff. Like him and Coffee. I love watching these young guys, out there freaking yucking it up, man. It's like, it's cool to see. But on top of, David being like a hero, a party hero to me, he's also a friggin' down motherfucker, man. It was good to talk to him, see him in the face. And, he's got ice in his veins too. He's just cool breeze.
Yeah. And a lot of people, when you're partying, you can party with anyone because everyone parties, but then, do you really want to hang out with those people sober? And as someone who's sober all the time, I love hanging out with David. He was awesome. He did his thing with me. We hung out, together, and then he was also doing his thing partying. So, nothing but love for David. And he really made my trip. I didn't expect to spend as much time with David as we did. And it was awesome. something I'll never forget. We can never go back and do that for the first time again.
No, we can't, man. That was special. That was
Yeah.
really special. Meeting with everybody was really special, and seeing the different personalities and matching them, and some of them were exactly what you thought, and some of them were like completely like, no way, this is not who. Like Kareem, like blew my mind. He's like 100 miles an hour, all the time on stream. But when you're around him, he's just like Dave Morales. They were just cool breeze, man. Just cool breeze.
Yeah, Kareem's got energy like I've never seen in person before. He has a magnet in him that draws women of all ages, septuagenarians down to children, men and women alike, but women in particular. I've seen lots of ladies, men. I've seen
Kareem's
it all.
A charmer. He's a charmer.
Kareem's a charmer. Sure. He just has this energy that is magnetic. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, it is. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And then meeting Hexo for the first time. I mean, him and I have been, fast friends and good buddies for a long time, and confidants in crypto, and being able to spend some time with him and his wife. That was really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize that you hadn't met before.
Yeah, he and I had never met. We both met. We had both run into people like Timmy Benjamin, and who else went and visited the Hexo?
Vince.
A couple other. No, Vince didn't go out there.
Okay.
Vince didn't even make it to Vegas, I think. Yeah, Vince.
He didn't. No.
He
definitely
had other
missed
arrangements. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've met Vince a couple of times out here at some meetups, and Vince is cool people. Yep. The California and Brasology, we had Brasology there, but I know that clown. He's just whatever. He's just like my little freaking nemesis.
There was a few moments when we were all together in the picture. The night before it all started, when it was just a small group of us. The night that we went to Big K's. There's just some moments where I looked around, and I just felt like this was a dream, and this was just so amazing. And like you said, we're on the 57th floor looking out in Las Vegas. I've never been higher than 27, and now here we are. Because why I went to 27 was because of the hotel I was staying at before I went to Big K's. So I get to go into the 57th floor, I think it was 54th floor, something like that. And I look around me, and there's people that inspire me on a daily basis, people that have brought me through my toughest times, and my friends, people that will help me, and it's not about money, but yet we're there because of money, and we're celebrating spending a lot of it. And, it was just surreal. It was
what it boils down to is freedom, man. It boils down to freedom, because look, the world has gotten itself into a lot of financial trouble. Currencies, money systems, taxation, it's all in a lot of trouble. And our generation is paying the price for it. This generation that's alive and well and in the money making, years in their lives, we're the ones that are paying the price for all this mess that they've created. And we're slaves to it. I've been a slave all these years to collecting that fiat that's getting worth less and less and less and less. I don't have those safety nets I need to go have freedom in life later on. It's like I'm slaving away to have nothing at the end. It's looking more and more like there's going to be nothing at the end of my slaving away.
Yeah.
I'm getting nowhere. I'm treading water. I'm just treading water until I drown. And that impending doom weighs heavy on a guy my age, because, younger people, it's like, okay, well, I got time. There's time for this shit to get fixed. There's time for maybe crypto to fix it. See, I'm out of time, man. I'm running out of time, and I don't have time for people to, start thinking about fixing shit. Shit's got to get fixed. So there's something to be said about a community that's chasing freedom, and getting the money thing fixed and handled is freedom. And, because they say money doesn't buy you happiness, but money buys you options, and options buy you freedom, and freedom really buys you happiness. So that's kind of the way it works. And with the community that's behind chasing that freedom, I'm inspired. I really am inspired that we have what we have here. We can fix the money. We can fix it, but we've got to fix crypto first. We got to fix crypto first.
Absolutely. I got to see a few guys come in. I'd just like to give them a shout out right now. Hex Mac, Markable, Wales. Those three guys I can think of off the top of my head, like they seem to come into Hex as far as the Twitter, crypto Twitter after me. So I got to watch them like break into the scene and contribute and watch their passion go from, everybody comes in on fire, but to then even raise it a level up. And, now to be, I'm talking to Markable today about, streaming with him and he's an impressive guy, just like Wales, just like Hex Mac. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of people, and I'm only speaking about people that came on, stream after I did for me to watch this, because it's amazing. I get to see very talented people pick up the ball, where we leave it sometimes. And I could take a break for the last 3 months. I miss streaming, I miss being a part of what was going on, but it was great because I get to get my family life back together and get my professional life going again. And, during that time, I was a fan of Hex, as I always am, so I just really want to give a shout out to those guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing who the next Hex Mac is, who the next Wales is, who the next, Hexican that's going to come into this space. And like you said, RG, the we is happening. So who's going to be the next one to come in and really help us change the game? Because I'm looking forward to that. I get excited. Like you said, it reinvigorates me to see the passion again, not that we lose it, but you know what I mean?
I'm really excited. You say the next Wales or the next Axis or the next Wasabi. So Wales, Wasabi, and Axis are going to start streaming together, and they've been putting something together for, they're when it comes to charting and looking at macroeconomics, there's none better than those guys. Those guys are just tops. So I'm excited that they're putting a stream together, and we're going to get to watch that develop. And
you said Axis, Wasabi, and Wales?
Yeah, Axis,
wow.
Wasabi, and Wales. Yeah, that's freaking I couldn't find three better guys in crypto to put it together and throw in front of macroeconomic charts and stuff, and you couldn't do it. And here they are. They were collaborating in Vegas. I got to speak with each of them, talking about their stream that they're going to do. They're all fired up about it, and Wales and Axis. Those are two others. I didn't get to spend a lot of time with Sabi, but we did get to talk. And again, another guy different in person than you see on stream. You think on stream this guy looks at a chart that sits in his mom's basement. Nah, he was a wild man. He was out there.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah. He was like, oh, wait a second. This guy's more than he makes out to be. He mild mannered Clark Kent, but he's really like Superman out there in the public eye. Comfortable, you'd think he would be some kind of an introverted type of person. No, he was.
Oh yeah, the pictures from Vegas prove otherwise, right?
Oh, that too. Yeah, that what? That's like kind of an epitome of his attitude, out there with the girls, that was good, man. That was awesome. That was good. Yeah, that was good. But then I spoke to Axis a lot while we were there, and man, he is fired up. Axis is like he really wants to go and change things and move things and do things. And Wales, I can't say enough good about that guy. He's just, I'll admit something. And he and I even had this conversation. So when Wales first showed up on the scene, I'm very protective of the community. And he started first thing he did is he started in on brand streams and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, motherfucker, who is this guy? He ain't showing his face. He's got all this fucking fast talk. He's messing with my boy Brand, I'm like, because we went through a couple of streamers that came and hung with us and ditched us and and rug pulled on us. And so, we were watching. So I was watching him. I was watching that motherfucker. I was like, no, wait a second.
Me too.
I'm gonna keep an eye on this dude. But he was solid. He hung with Maddie and Kareem and I watched him, let Kareem do his thing while he was sitting there, you know, back behind Kareem, wait for Kareem to get finished talking and stuff. So I was like, okay, this guy's earning his wings here, right? And then he did something. I asked him, I called him out one day, kind of. I said, hey man, look, check this out. Before you come on my stream, I need to see your face. You and me need to have a meeting. And man, with respect, he said, no problem. Without doubt, I'll do that. And we had a conversation face to face, you know, online like this, without recording or anything. And I gained a lot of respect for him. And I said, okay, this guy, he really is in it to be part of this community. And he really does believe. And I didn't have any reason not to believe, but he was just talking, you know, and I wanted to see, you know, you need to see somebody's face. Like you said, coming from the streets, you want to see a motherfucker's eyes when they're, you know, are they lying to me or they're telling me the truth, you know? And, you know, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And then when I met him in person, that was it. It's all over.
Yeah.
We're bros now. And, you know, he's the real deal. And, you know, another relationship, lifelong relationship being made, you know? And, yeah, Wales is those three guys together. Just going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I love Wales, just like you said, and I tell him a lot too. You know, I told him earlier today, you know, how impactful he's been to me personally, and getting to see him, you know, meet him in person was incredible. I didn't know Axis very well, but I did meet him in Vegas, and I was very impressed with him.
Yes.
You know, he's on his own, a beast.
Driven.
Yeah, for sure. He's special. And so he's hooking up with those two guys. Wow. You know.
Wasabi is as sharp and as bright and as smart as they come. Wales is as experienced as they come when it comes to, you know, macroeconomics, and Axis is just driven, and you can't stop that team right there. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. So really cool to see those guys. And they were the whole weekend. Those guys, all three of those guys were sitting down talking. They were talking and working, and it was cool to see. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was incredible. We had a couple good times together. Just like, you know, you never know who was going to end up where. But at one time, I was with Kareem, Axis, David, Hex Monkey. You know, we just had such like a good couple hours, just like talking, hanging out by the pool. Like nothing even for me to really tell you what we talked about, but it was just so good. You know, it was like I was just so comfortable, and I didn't want to be anywhere else in the world. You know, and when I can be at peace like that with people I just met in physical real life for the first time, I mean, there's something special, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, we built a family. You guys, you know, you built a family, RG, and you know, I'm so lucky with the group of guys I came in with, and there's, you know, one right behind us, and you know, I was lucky enough. Like, I'm looking at the chat, I thought Joe was the first to stream with Wales. I think some cool trivia is I was the first person to have Wales come on. So not only did I stream with Wales for the first time that Wales streamed in the community, other than a solo stream, but I streamed also with Matty Allen, right? So someday I'm going to look back at this at the Hex movie and realize, like, wow, this was amazing. You know, I'm right there in the thick of things, like I wanted to be, and through your inspiration, RG, you know, and it's the network effect, right? The Wales talks about it's this community, the way it grows. I watched Wales and Axis both tell each other how much they both inspired one another, as I'm telling Wales and he's telling me, and you know, there's no bullshit, and no one's asking for anything afterwards. There's no trying to sell you something when they're done. Like, it was nothing but love, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, X Monkey, what's up? He's in the chat.
Hey, how's it going, X Monkey?
Saved Gary's life.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah,
hope you guys are doing all right, Hex Monkey.
Yeah. Oh, the Hex movie. So, just to I'm gonna let another cat out of the bag. I think I'm in trouble for talking about Axis.
I think you are.
And Wasabi. But I'm excited about it. And I'm sorry, guys, but you know, it's inevitable. You guys got to get together. Get together and get this thing going.
So here's another secret to offset that one. Right?
Here's another secret to offset that one. Somebody's making a movie. Somebody's already making a movie. But anyway, I just thought I'd put that out there. There's a movie being made.
That's going to be quite a movie from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, somebody talked to me about it, and they want to make a movie. So I'm like, hey, whatever. That's freaking down, man. I dig it. So yeah,
So
it's gonna happen.
if everybody remembers like the 6-7 part series, The Tiger King, right? I think that's what it was called, where I got my name Joe Exotic. That came during the pandemic, and it was like captivating and just the right moment and the right time. Like
I watched that damn thing. Man.
Yeah.
I actually like wasted fucking like a week of my life and watched
Me
that
too.
thing.
But I've always thought since I got here that one day there's going to be something just like that that's going to show, and it's going to be on Netflix, and it's going to be a 6-7 part series, and it's and now what I just watched over the past couple months, especially in Vegas, I'm certain of it. You know,
David Morales said, "I hope for the Hex movie some short guy doesn't play RG3." Like I said, don't go to a meetup and have to look up at me. That's all I can say for some of you.
Yeah, I was disappointed, RG. You're not as small as everybody made you out to be. I don't even know if I'd call you short.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I mean, I'm not a 6-footer, but I'm definitely not like a 5'8".
If I call you short, I got to call me short. So,
but I mean, I don't even know why that even matters. But anyway, Danny DeVito will play RG3. I mean, come on, man. He's a fucking children of the great. He's a little older than I am, don't you think, man? Like, can you come up with something like Wee Man or something like that? Maybe he's a little younger. I'll take Wee Man. Wee Man can play me, and that'll be cool. Put him up on a tank and have him yelling with a bullhorn and shit. I think that would be cool. But yeah, I watched. Did you watch the Ross Ulbricht story? What do you call it?
What was it on Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix.
YouTube.
It's a Silk Road thing.
I've seen a couple of them, but I don't know if I've seen a Netflix one.
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie. I think it's a Netflix movie, but
okay.
Either way, it's a movie. It's called I don't even know what it's called. It's called the Ross Ulbricht story, I think, and it's him getting arrested for creating the Silk Road and all that. And
I think I missed it then, RG. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to check it out, man. It's I mean, it's pretty decent. It goes into the story of the because there was an agent that was tailing him that did get in trouble for stealing some of the Bitcoin or whatever, and then of course Ross got life in prison for because there was like some murder for hire type of thing that he participated in that they set him up on, and I don't know, but it was a pretty good movie. And I was thinking, like, our story's better than that, to be honest. The story of Hex is much better than that, and the end of this story is actually going to be way better because Hex is going to fix corrupt crypto. It's going to change what Bitcoin should have been. It's going to change what a chain should have looked like, what a blockchain should have looked like. So it's a much better. Yeah, Vin Diesel.
There you go.
RG3 is an actor. No, who's the guy? So my wife's in love with oh man, who's the big dude that's married to the Cosby Kid girl? Oh god damn it, I can't remember everybody's name now. He played Aquaman. No, he played Aquaman. He's like
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. Like, my wife is like, that's her dude. Like, if he showed up, I get like thrown under the bus type of thing. Like, she, So Jason Momoa is my nemesis, and my wife's in love with him. And so, yeah, so maybe he could play me, and that would work.
There you go.
I'll let that, or The Rock. Yeah, there you go. The Rock would be good. But
now we're getting there.
now we're talking. Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys to play RG. I'm gonna get Wee Man to play you, Brissology.
Brissology was awesome too. I had a great time hanging out with him over a few different days. Somebody I would love to hang out with again for sure.
I tried driving in a car with the guy for like 4 hours at a time. And that wasn't the only time I've had to do that. Like we've made it a couple drives together. I was in the car with this guy. Brissology. But anyway. But yeah, we had a great time. The community is awesome. It's only getting stronger. The next event is being planned, and somebody asked earlier if it was going to be in Vegas, and yes, it is going to be in Vegas. There's going to be more than one Hex event, in the future. We're hoping to maybe do stuff like a music festival or something like that. Things are, out in the works. People have talked. I know Maddie kind of posted that we were going to have a Hex Fest here, but we are going to put together an event. It is going to happen more than likely in about 9 months. And then we are going to just improve on this next one. So instead of just a meetup, this is actually going to be an event. Everyone's going to be at the same place. We're going to have meetings and keynote speakers and all of the good things like that. Like I said, we're all in the planning stages of it, but a whole team of people is together. The Discourse Syndicate crew, everybody is in some capacity working on it. Kinetics, myself, and then of course everybody that worked on Vegas is part of that crew. So we're all putting another one together, and that's not saying ours has to be the only one. Somebody else can make another one if they want, but we're the community. We're going to put it together. And if everybody wants to go and participate, we'd love to have you there. And we'll keep everybody informed as time goes on. We'll have a website out soon and more details as to what that's going to look like. And of course, we're going to ask for the community's input, because we don't want to just do it on our own. We're literally going to put the infrastructure together and then ask the community what they're looking for, what they want, and then kind of put that together. So yeah, so it's happening. It's being planned, and it is going to be in Vegas. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, don't want to miss these guys. If it's funny because these events that I've been to these events for in business, to grow businesses and to use them as business building events. But this one's different because we don't have a business here really. We're just a community of people, like-minded people that are promoting a cryptocurrency. Is there a reason for us to do this? I mean, the Bitcoiners do it. I think the main reason to do it is for that camaraderie, for what we got when we all just met. I mean, we saw the value in that. That's very valuable.
You can't buy that. No matter how much money you have, you can't buy that. You
can't. And the virality that it can create, everybody getting together, is powerful, because word of mouth advertising is the most powerful advertising on the planet, because it's your bro telling you, it's your friend telling you, it's your mentor telling you, it's your brother, your sister, your girlfriend. It's somebody that you care about telling you about what this thing is, about what freedom could be, about how to fix crypto and how to change the money. It's a powerful message, and it comes better served with somebody that, has a relationship with you. So I think that this event or these events are going to serve as the word of mouth advertising arm of, the Hex product itself. And of course the Pulse Chain product. There's going to be better marketing and advertising and all those kinds of things. And we're even participating in that ourselves. But the power behind the word of mouth is it's unmatched. And these events help to solidify that, because now we're not just a bunch of people soundboarding off of each other online. Now we're people who have hugged, high-fived, and shaken each other's hands, broke bread with one another, hung out, have some cool stories about our nights out together, those kinds of things. So now we've developed real relationships, real solid relationships. And you can't match. It's unmatched in the marketing world when you have
RG. I was thinking, I don't know who has how much Hex either. So as I'm meeting all these Hexicans, I don't care how much Hex you have. Like I just had fun, right? So there's no like ulterior motive. You could become a Hexican in our community, not because you have a certain amount of T-shares, but because you spent a certain amount of time with us, because you went to bat for us on Twitter, because you blood, sweat, and tears, you're here every Friday night. You're, those things like that's what was amazing about it, is just like, no matter who walked up, it didn't matter if I never even knew that person as far as what they looked like and they'd come up and tell me their Twitter handle, you know, and then you're like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
you're like,
you're Hex Toshi, you know?
Toshi, what's yeah.
You know, I'm like, it was just amazing. So I invite anybody that's thinking that there was some sort of like an old boys club to get in or something. It wasn't. It was, everybody was everywhere. I had I don't know how many hours 5 days is, but I had that many hours worth of just like love and impact, and it was just amazing. I mean, I don't know. It's over, so I don't mean to rub it in if you didn't make it, you know, but I want you to know that I'd love for you to be there at the next one.
Yeah, don't miss the next one. Plan for it. Start planning now. Probably going to see it within the next 9 months. It's going to happen quicker than I think that we imagined it could. It's not going to be a year. It's going to be pretty quick. We're going to try and make it a better time of the season. It does get hot out there in Vegas, so maybe draw it a little closer towards the springtime and make it a little nicer on everybody. But there's another guy I want to talk about. So Kong, he's another community member that, you know, back in the day, like in the early chat days before Discourse Syndicate, Kong and I, we developed a relationship, and we would, you know, thanks for the 369, Bubba. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
He works in the medical field, you know, during the whole COVID thing. So it was like, dude, are you okay? Fuck, man, you know, and you know, every day it was like kind of like he was playing roulette and stuff with the whole COVID deal, because he was in the hospitals working with these folks, and but he was there, and we would have long late night conversations about Hex and Richard, and you know, and we both just kind of solidified each other's belief in what was going on. Versus fudding each other out or whatever. And we went and tag team people on Twitter, you know, like, hey, motherfuckers, you ain't fucking with us, you know, and that kind of shit. So like a brother in arms. I wish I could have, you know, met him there. I know that he was in Florida with everybody when they went to Disney World. I missed that one. But next one, bro. Next one, Bubba. You're going to be at the next one. We're going to meet then. But yeah, Hex Kong, another good buddy from Hex that I haven't got to meet yet, but still there.
I haven't met Hex Kong either. I'd love to. I was going to head to Orlando. I was looking forward to meeting him, and I just didn't make it myself to that one. So definitely a good guy. It's people like Hex Kong have done so much that maybe if you're new to Hex, you don't know who Hex Kong is, you know. And Hex Kong is OG Hexican. He's a cutthroat, one of the original cutthroats. Makes memes and has a relationship with all of us, right? So like these guys that you might not see every day on stream or on Twitter, they're still very much impactful in our community, and Hex Kong is one of those guys. You know, I look forward to seeing what he's going to do when something funny happens with a meme, or just checking in on me, you know.
He was the master of the memes. He was the master of the meme. He was like the first Hexican meme master, you know. And then I remember somebody stole his name, and he had to change his name, and it was pretty funny.
Then he got it back, or
he got it back.
Okay.
And then I can't remember. Dude, what was your name the first time? He had another name before, and then I think he had to change that one. I can't remember. It's like so long ago, and all these meme names and shit, you know, mean nothing. But
you remember the show when Brissology told everybody what his old name used to be, and they're all like, "No, you were that dude."
He was the fudder.
Yeah,
I always give him.
He had to change his name.
Yeah, because he was fudding.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get it back. Oh, it was Yoda. That's right. It was Hex Yoda.
Oh,
so
wow.
he was Hex Yoda, and somebody stole the Yoda thing from him. He was pissed, man. He was fucking pissed. And we were on Hexo's show trying to blast the other Yoda, and he was so mad that he lost it. And then he went to Hex Kong, and now he's just been known as Hex Kong, which is funny because we've got all these names, you know. We've all got these names, these fucking meme names, and some people have like a different Twitter name versus a different Telegram name versus, you know, a different stream name. So it's like, oh, you're that guy too. Oh shit. Like, so you see all these different personas now in different areas, but it's the same person when you meet them, and it's like, oh shit, you know, you're that. And now I got to put a face to 3 different identities, and now I know who you are. So it's kind of a trip. It's
somebody like Hex Monkey too. I hung out with him a lot. He's an awesome guy, great guy. And I love his original name. I'm not going to dox him if you don't already know his name, but I love his name so much. I almost named my son that if I was going to have a son. So I love his name, but I can't bring myself to call him that. So I have to call him Monkey. because it's just like, because we're so used. I'm so comfortable with. I'd rather in a crowded group of strangers call out, "Hey, Hex Monkey," and have him turn around than call him by his real name.
I know we're all in the clubs and shit, calling each other all these names. Hey, there's the captain. Everyone's like, "Oh, the captain's here. Here's the captain." And everybody's like, "Who the fuck is the captain, man? The fucking captain. What do you call yourself the captain for?" But yeah, it was interesting, and we should all have been like Timothy Benjamin, right? I think he's the only one that has really his own name, and he's never had to hide out. Yeah, so
Tim's like what you were saying, RG. He's like one of those guys you see on screen. You're like, no way that dude's that good in person. There's just no way he can't be, but he is. He's gentle. Guy. He's awesome. Just a great guy. I love hanging out with Tim Benjamin. Anytime we are doing anything, I want to hang out with Tim for sure.
Yep. Timmy B. So back to Pulse real quick. So if you didn't see Richard's tweet, everybody, I saw the Pulse Twitter say, "Get your MetaMask ready." So that tells me that it's getting ready to be go time. So get your affairs in order, get your wallets in order, make sure you have all of your Hex wallets ready to go, and your strategy ready for how you're going to move, and then ready to hit those buttons, because any day now that could launch, and I've got a feeling it's going to be this week, is my opinion.
Oh, I thought tonight, maybe even today. I was pretty convinced it was going to happen today after what he said the other day. I think Saturday night on stream.
Yeah. I think he said there's a 20% chance it would happen today or something like that. So I was like, probably not going to happen today. Probably more like Friday. Or maybe he'll do it in the middle of the week, like tomorrow or Wednesday or something. Who knows?
I think by the way he gave his time, we can say as a matter of fact it will happen in the next 7 days, because he made me feel like that on so many levels. He kind of just narrowed it down to that.
Yeah, but and then it's not going to be a 30-day thing. I think maybe it's only going to be a 2-week thing, but that he kind of like fudged on that too. He's like, it could be 3 days plus 2 weeks, or 3 days plus 30 days. So for some reason he was saying it was going to be the 2 weeks plus 3 days. So whatever it was either this time frame or that time frame plus 3 days, which I think maybe that plus 3 days is that first entry phase. So you got those first 3 days, and then you're going to have a certain time period of every day you're going to see movement in the price of, or the value of the amount of placeholder you get per dollar for the Pulse chain drop, for the Pulse drop, which still is an expectation of 0, because no expectations from the work of others. So you will be getting a drop of whatever token or whatever for 0 of value.
RG, I just wanted to touch on this for a minute, because I haven't been streaming for a while, and I know that there's a lot of game theory behind what people are going to do, and some people don't express what their plan is, right? Because they want to game this everybody. I spend a lot of time in the Pulse chat. So I've gotten pretty well versed in everything around Pulse, right? And so I'm giving my confidence up, and I'm certainly not about to give financial advice. But I did learn that, dollar cost averaging in over the past year that I've been here essentially is the most responsible way to go about basically any investing. And with what's about to happen with the Pulse chain launch, I just want to let everyone know what my strategy is that I am going to dollar cost average in throughout multiple periods, because I do believe that Hex will appreciate faster than the depreciation will happen as far as our opportunity regarding Pulse. So not only that, though, but the reason I wanted to bring it up, Wendy's for Tendies gave me a heads up before the big payday about what would happen after the big payday, that the price was going to drop. And I thought he was crazy. She was crazy. I'm not sure if Wendy's is a guy or a girl, but I thought they were crazy. And then that dip came and it happened. And had I had a stack that I held back a little bit, because I would have known how to more responsibly DCA into something, I could have gotten quite a deal. So what I'm going to do this time is not only DCA into every event, but I'm also going to hold a part of my stack back to make sure that I can grab that dump if it happens. And if it doesn't, then, not a big deal, but I covered all my bases there. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of different strategies as far as the weight of those possibilities. So, like if you think day one FOMO is the way to go, or you think maybe dollar cost averaging in, maybe heavier day one FOMO and then go lighter, like a 1/3, 2/3 strategy, like Richard was talking about, or holding, a liquid bag in case there is a dip afterwards, which more than likely, I mean, if we see it pump hard, we probably might see, when anything pumps like that, like just like Hex did when, during the big payday, it took a dip, and like Hexa was live on stream. He caught a 3-cent dip, right after it pumped like crazy, so, or point, was it 0.3 cent, 0.03 cents, right?
0.003. It actually went down to 0.0019999 is for what it hit.
So 0.003 is what he ended up catching, so there's all kinds of different strategies. I guess you just have to figure out how and at what weight you're going to position yourself at all those different, points, how you're going to, if you're going to dollar cost into all those, maybe you're a last day FOMO guy. You're going to wait until the last day and you're going to put everything in on the last day and, make that your gamble, or put everything in on the first day and make that your gamble. But whatever it is, have it ready and don't be thinking about it after it happens. Do it now, have your strategy ready, make a plan your work your plan, and then, stick with what you got. And, nobody knows what's going to happen. There's only speculation. So
I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of Hexicans about how they came to find Hex, right? That's what the premise of the Joe Exotic live show was. So I've heard a lot of people tell their stories, and the ones that impact me the most that I feel like, wow, I wish I could have done what you did, were the handful of guys that got to go into the adoption amplifier every single day with an even amount. And those guys have quite a story to tell, and they can tell you how profitable it's been. I've never met the guy that was able to only come in and do one thing and make out like a bandit, right? But I have been able to meet the handful of guys that did DCAA and responsibly, did very well. And then there's also other people like myself that only had a limited amount of days where, I would have loved to have been in more. And so my point is, if I could see this whole thing play out again, I would rather not put all my eggs in one basket and try to be the richest Hexican that gets out of Pulse. I don't want to be that, right? I just want to make sure I cover my bases. I want to feel good at the end of it. I want to feel like I did the responsible thing. So, so that's what I'm going to do.
And I'm going to weight my strategy about the same. I'm going to DCA in over a period of time. But I'm going to weigh it differently. I'm going to weigh out what I think is the best strategy. And, like I said, there's going to be more weight at different areas of the sacrifice phase for me, as far as what I think is going to happen. And then some different strategies with what coins I'm going to be bringing, during the snapshot. So the snapshot's important, I think. How you're sitting at the snapshot is important. So I've got some strategies for that. And then of course, DCAing in based on the value of weight I attribute to, day 1 through 3 or, the different days in. So I'm going to have some type of strategy like that too, because like you, I want to know that, hey, I put a plan together, I worked it, and, either way, I'm not going to be disappointed with what happens because, let's just face it, Richard hasn't failed us, and we're probably all going to do, pretty good on this. We're going to be doing pretty good because we're coming at the beginning of the crypto's largest airdrop ever, crypto's largest, system state copy, fork, the biggest fork ever, of everything on Ethereum, which I'm seeing is blowing a lot of people's minds when they're like, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen here, because I've at first I was like, I thought, people might not be receptive to it, and it might not, maybe just us Hexicans are going to be receptive. Then I think about it like, wait a minute, people like airdrops and free money and stuff. They're not gonna, like, no way. They don't care who it is, Richard, CZ, whoever put that out there. They're gonna go get their shit, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
RG, have you thought about the fact that, again, just to be safe, I don't know if we really have to say this or not, but just not financial advice, right? The opposite of the whales dumping when it's over, which is a total possibility. And like I said, I'm going to hold back part of my stack to do that. I'm also going to plan for the opposite of that to happen. And my gut is telling me that in the last half hour of that, TWAP average, we're about to see the whales, the OA, all of them together come in, and I really feel like they're going to buy up the entirety of the supply of the liquid hex. And in that last half hour, therefore driving their sacrifice ability, the amount that they get, up through the roof, diluting essentially the rest of us that happened before, but securing their bags forever, right? And also protecting the network. So not only are you a whale in hex, right, but you're now a whale in pulse. So maybe we shouldn't be saying this, but whales are smart enough to know the game. I'm not telling them anything they don't already know. So if my family and friends are coming in, not only are we prepared to have a little bit of a stack after in case it dumps, but the majority of my DCA is not going to be spread evenly. It's going to have 2 impact points, probably the beginning and the end, and then smaller amounts throughout the middle. But I would really tell people that I love that have money involved that aren't going to sue me in court if I'm wrong, that they should be aware of that. That I think we could be seeing numbers like whales talked about, double-digit hex numbers, right? So I believe that we could see that if not higher. And I know that might sound wild, but you put yourself in those guys' shoes, and you have all the money. If you could play this game any way you want, and you have the cheat codes, that's what you do to win. Yeah,
and we will see soon, I suppose. So exciting times. Great time to be involved. Great time to be almost. Well, I mean, it's good to know. It's what's the curse of this whole thing is who we are, being through what we've been through. So we have this whole. We're kind of like we're over. Evaluating everything, I think, and there's a lot of other people that are just going to find out about it and get in, and they'll be fine. And we're going to over evaluate the shit out of it and stress the fuck out of ourselves. Yeah. And, it's going to be fine anyway, So, I mean, cause if, like you said, if Hex, pumps the price, it doesn't matter. At that point, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's what's confusing about it is like my first thought was I should get upset with that, but then I realized what the hex price would be.
You're like, there's no being upset. How can I be mad at that? And I got double bags now, and and let's see what the value of this bag is. It's insane. It really is insane what's about to happen, and it's just beautiful to be part of it. And everything is coming together swimmingly. We just spent, an hour and a half on the whole community thing and what it means to us and what it's brought to us. And, and it means different things to different people. But you and I have a special, relationship with it because of, what it brings to us and what it means to us to develop community and be part of a community and be able to help others and bring something to people that helps them. It's part of you and me. It's part of our survival. We have to do good things for people because of who we are. It's our MO. It's like, in order for me to keep what I've got and to continue to live like I live, I have to give back.
Gotta give it away.
And I got to give it away. And that's, that's my motivation. That's what's behind, RG3's motivation to do what I'm doing. This has nothing to do really with money. It has to do with me being able to keep what I got. And that's my integrity and, the trust that people have instilled in me through this community. So I got to continue to give it away, man, in order to keep it.
Absolutely. RG, you want to end on that note?
I would love to, because I've got some ribs and corn on the cob and stuff in there waiting for me, and
wow, a
little cheat meal.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, man, dude, thank you so much for letting me be, your first guest and coming out and just getting a little of my story out there so people know. I've told some of these things before, but never like with one person in depth. I feel comfortable with you, of course. So, it was cool, man. It was really, really cool. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you. You made me a happy guy, RG. I've been, since I started this and since I found out you were, on this, doing the same thing I've been doing. It's really been I just thought, wow, if I could go one-on-one with RG and you would feel comfortable enough with me to talk about, the difficulties we've been through. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Thank you, RG. You made me really happy. It's weird to say a dream come true because this is all so quick, but like the things that I think about and what's important to me, you represent that, and this has been very special.
Well, you're doing a great job, and keep up the good work and keep doing it, and onward and upward, bro. Onward and upward.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for being here with us tonight. I no DS tonight, right, RG?
No DS. I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna call it good tonight. It's already past time for DS anyway. So I just wanted to come on with you and give you the time. And I'll get back next Monday.
So we got a wake up Hex in the morning, right?
Wake up Hex in the morning.
Same schedule as always. We have new shows popping up. I will be on Mondays at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, which is the time that today's show started, and I'm looking forward to next week because Nerd Girl is going to be my second guest, and we're going to talk about cults, right? Nicole is going to share her experience about being excommunicated from a cult in real life. So I'm looking forward to that. That's
crazy.
Yeah. It'll be a great show. So thank you, everybody. RG, thanks again.
Right,
we'll see everybody